thought I'd just go over a little bit on the brake booster here before we get into all this analysis of the one that I have that has, of course, failed. And then also I drove another one that had failed, and then I got video from another member that provided it to me. So we'll cover that. But first thing I want to cover, of course, is the 13N02 customer satisfaction program. Basically, it's not a recall, but it is an as the brake booster fails customer satisfaction program. So what that says is that basically certain 2010 through 2013 model year Ford Edge and MKX vehicles have an extended warranty coverage on their brake booster, which is a good thing because it gives you 10 years and 150,000 miles. So if you have over 150,000 miles on your Ford Edge, then you're done. Okay, this doesn't apply to you. If it's been longer than 10 years, you're done. Okay. Now, I think the key to this is the miles, folks. If it's over 150, if you're starting to have problems and your Edge is at 149, you better get it in there. Get it in before, okay? And, of course, you'll see in this video and hear what it sounds like if it's failing. So you'll get the visual, and you'll also hear what it sounds like. It's pretty consistent. But it does cover all the edges, and in the case like mine's a 2011 Ford Edge, and it got replaced. But my other 2011 Ford Edge will not get replaced. I will have to do it on my nickel because it has 169,000 miles on it. So I'm out of luck. But mine hasn't failed, so go figure. But basically, you got all the model years in there, and then if you did get it repaired, it was a 2010 through 2013. Basically what they're saying is if you paid out of pocket, you can also apply for the money back. I think that might have expired by now, so you can always ask for it if they'll pay for it if you've just heard about this. But you can go and try to get refunds back on what your repair cost was. But basically what it does is it covers all the repairs. They install a new brake booster and any parts that of course would be needed to go with it. I think what they do is they're taking the intake manifold off and doing some other things to actually repair it. And of course you will see later on in the video when they repaired mine what they did to mine as far as damage and everything else. They took the engine cover and ripped the back one in like 3 pieces. You know, they ended up having to replace my engine cover on my wife's Edge because they destroyed it. But basically some of the parts you're looking at, they'll replace the brake booster, the upper intake manifold gasket if needed, brake booster push rod clevis and locking pin of course be replaced. And then of course they'll take and add more DOT3 brake fluid to it and get it all pumped up and ready to go for you. And then you'll have that nice soft pedal. So we're going to go ahead and go through this video. You'll see what's going on, and in the end of it you'll see exactly what it looks like after it is done, because I'll go ahead and show you that. I am going to start this Ford Edge up, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can't listen for signs and symptoms of brake booster failure. It is the signs and symptoms of it: hard pedal, not wanting to stop. Initially what it's doing is under low RPM, it's really hard to stop. And interestingly enough, it's all vacuum issue, the higher the engine RPM, the better it stops. So at this point I think it's the early stages of failure. It's got a soft brake pedal, low RPM, not enough vacuum, things like that are going on. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to start this Edge up, and we're going to listen to see if we hear a hissing sound or any other strange noises. And what I'm going to do is compare this to the after, when they replace the brake booster. And of course compare to see if there's any sound differences or anything else. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and see how hard the pedal is when we start it up, because it has been rather hard, and I have been always suspicious of this Edge. This is my wife's, and the brakes just have never felt the same as my other Edge. And I've just been waiting for this to happen, and ultimately it ended up happening. So You know, I just suspected it, and it has finally materialized that it is a failure. The brakes on my other Edge are working perfectly. Never had an issue. They've always felt good. But this one always had a hard brake pedal. Never really felt sure of it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a start. But first, we're going to go in and we're going to evaluate how hard the brake pedal is when I push it, so we can have some comparisons. But first thing we're going to do is make sure we look at that switch, because I want to know, will the dealer replace the stop lamp switch? Because those are usually broken during an install if they're not really careful. So we're going to make sure that we take a good video of it and just document it, and of course document that the lights do work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check the lights. Now of course we're going to check the brake lights here to make sure that they do work. Now we're going to take and look at this. So this is the stop lamp switch, and we're going to make sure that we have that identified to see if they do replace it, or if there's a problem in the brake lights not working, because they, as we all see, they do currently work. So just wanted to double check this, make sure that it is of course in good shape and is doing everything it is supposed to do. So we got that. Now we're going to go ahead and start it. But first, we're going to check the pedal play. Okay. And we got the pedal right here. Very hard. Very hard. Okay. It is a real hard pedal. So we'll check it later on and make sure, but let's go ahead and start it. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and push the pedal very hard, and we'll go ahead and start it. Got a hard pedal. Goes down a couple inches. Not much of an issue. Let me hold it. Now it's sinking to the floor. And it's all the way down to the floor. Let's come back up. So we're going to go ahead and see if we have any sounds coming from it. Now when I go ahead and I put it in gear, I let go of it, and it's real hard. The pedal is really hard when I push on it, and it doesn't stop and lock. It's real hard, and it's slow to actually stop the Edge. See, nothing grabs right away, and it's sinking down to the floor. So we'll get some assistance here, and we'll see if we can't hear any sounds. But let's go listen right now. I don't know if y'all can see down in there, but the brake booster is right down in there. Okay, pretty well buried down in there. And of course, it's hard to get down there. We have to get the battery out and everything else to actually reach it. But it is back down in there where you can see the hose and everything right down here, all the way back. There's a brake reservoir there, but I'm not hearing any hissing sound to speak of. So I'm going to get some assistance and have the brake pedal push to see if we get anything out of that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lavalier mic off, and I'm going to set it right down here so we can listen for any noises that may occur. So I got it clipped on. Hopefully here, let me get it clipped onto this little plastic piece here. Okay, I got the lavalier clipped on.
Here's the sound that my brakes make whenever I push them in.
It's at the early stages. It's not a full-blown leak, but it is enough to cause stopping issues. So I'm just documenting this, and what I will do is document the after repair video and see what they did to repair it. And of course we got everything here that we're looking for. So we'll just go ahead and see what they do on Tuesday, which is about 2 days from now. And we'll come back and we'll do another test on it to see where we're at. Now, as you can see down here, this is what it looks like after the fact. So I can tell that it's got new parts to it, but it's really hard. I mean, you got to remove the battery and you got to remove the intake and everything else to get back down in there, and of course get to the brake booster itself. But you can see down in there where they did have the repairs and the replacements done. Now, as I noticed, you know, when they did it, they broke this. They have since repaired it and replaced it. So this back cover was replaced because they broke it, and that has been done. No charge because it was their fault. So that was working also. Now we can see this is the after photo of them doing the repair. And of course everything looks like it's all in order. The brakes were checked and they do work. So we do know that this was a good repair. Now if you remember, I told you when I was pushing on it was really hard. Look at that, folks. Look how far that went down, okay? That wasn't doing that before, okay? So it gives you that first real soft push, whereas now once we've used the vacuum up, it's really hard, okay? So but before, when I pushed on it, it was this hard. It wasn't going down. So that has changed also. Now, of course, I'll go ahead and push on the pedal and start it. And as we can see, we have the pedal down here. And if you remember on the first video, I pushed on the pedal. Look at that, folks, with my toe. That is how soft that pedal should be, okay? That is just barely. Look at that. That is how the pedal should be. If you have to push on it and put your whole foot on it like this, that means you got a brake booster going out. But if you can push it with your toe, just like this, look at that. Not even deforming my foot trying to push it. That means your brake booster is working perfectly. So if you have a brake booster where you got to put your whole foot into it and push really hard, then you have a bad brake booster. But this is a repair, successful, and it was done under the warranty program that they extended for the brake booster at Ford. That's it, folks. That is the brake booster repair. Has been completed. This is fall now, and I've been trying to get around to this, but it is working. It's been running for 1,000 miles, no problem. And no problems with the brake lights or anything else. For you DIYers, number one thing, the brake switch, buy it. I've seen it in the forums, I've seen it on our page. Notoriously, you all break it. You have to be extremely careful with it. So buy the switch, save yourself some effort, because whatever reason, you do something to it when you do fix it. But again, this is the brake booster, and of course it was repaired. I didn't do it because it was under warranty. I'm not going to work on something that is going to be fixed by the dealer. So it's not worth spending the extra money for, right? They pay for it, get the job done under warranty. For you with extended warranties, you have to check with that also. But as with all things, it is working. Got brakes, and I'm happy about it. I do want to also let you all know that I have decided to take a different step, and I have established a fan funding for my YouTube channel. New camera is needed. Other things that I do, the garage that I use charges me whenever I do videos and stuff like that. It's really an out-of-pocket expense on this. So not begging for money, but if you see fit, you like the videos, you like what I'm doing, hey, throw me a buck or something to help pay for these things. It really does help. But I also enjoy doing it, so it's more of a hobby for me. But you know, we don't want the hobby to be too expensive, and it does cut into my personal budget once in a while. So again, not begging, but hey, you know, every little bit helps. You know, if I pick up a penny today, I got more than I had yesterday. So anyway, this is Mac T, and of course this is one of my videos that I did for y'all. And of course, I do want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, because today is the eve before Thanksgiving. And of course, I do want to make sure you all have a great day. So that being said, make sure you go over here to the Facebook, and of course join Facebook, and of course YouTube, and then of course join into everything and subscribe. And of course my feet hit the floor today, so I'm happy and I'm glad for it, and I want you to be happy too. Have a great day.